In 1904, 7 years before Indianapolis hosted its first 500, the first American Power Boat Association Gold Cup race was held in New York City. Now, in its 82nd year, the Gold Cup is one of the oldest and most prestigious awards in sports. Only 2 men, Gar Wood and Bill Munsey, have won the Gold Cup 5 times. Only Wood has scored 5 consecutive Gold Cups. Wood, a Detroit inventor, reigned supreme in Gold Cup competition from 1917 to 1921. Now, 65 years later, a bright new star, Chip Hanauer, has the chance to match Wood's record as he seeks his 5th consecutive Gold Cup here on the Detroit River that Gar Wood and Bill Munsey called home. Hanauer is the last driver to win the Gold Cup in a piston-engine boat and the only driver to win with a turbine entry. Since taking over for the late Bill Munsey at the start of the 1982 season, Hanauer has shown no preference when it comes to Gold Cups. He has simply won them all. Hanauer has won on courses long and short, on rough water and calm. His 4 Gold Cups have come in 4 different cities on 4 different bodies of water. Gold Cup history is rich in tradition. Hanauer's spectacular 1982 Gold Cup victory here in Detroit is already a classic. Here's how Paul Page of NBC Sports called the final heat of that 1982 Gold Cup.
But Hanauer moves up to stalk the rooster tail coming off the back of Chenoweth's boat. Now at this point, Chenoweth cannot see where Hanauer sits as Hanauer begins to pull now down inside Chenoweth. And Chenoweth almost completely off the water as look at this tremendous charge by Hanauer. How he's keeping the boat under control is completely beyond me. Hanauer completely up in the air, but he still maintains his position along the butt. The butt sitting solidly in the water. Chenoweth holding the lead. Here comes Hanauer. They both pour on the power, pour on the nitrous oxide, and Hanauer forges his way past the butt as they decelerate to the turn. Now Chenoweth responds. They're in the rooster tail turn. Chenoweth wide once again, picking up the RPM, but Hanauer stays on the inside, and Hanauer moves into first. A dream about to come true for Chip Hanauer as he accelerates for the last time across the line, and Chip Hanauer has won the Gold Cup. Dean Chenoweth comes across the line in 2nd place. But Chip Hanauer has won his 4th unlimited race and his 1st Gold Cup. And look how happy he is as he waves his arm to the crowd and continues really at full speed.
And down on the dock, the anticipated jubilation, of course, much in evidence. O.H. Frisbee, 15 years a sponsor of the boat that has just won the Gold Cup. Fran Munsey, crew chief Jim Harvey, and the jubilant driver himself now, almost in disbelief, as the Atlas comes slowly back to the dock. A standing ovation from the throngs here in the Horace Dodge pits.
Since then, Hanauer has gone on to Gold Cup triumphs in Evansville, Pasco, and last year in his hometown of Seattle. At age 31, the Washington State University grad is the winningest active driver in unlimited racing and holder of most of the current records. But today, the opportunity of a lifetime awaits Hanauer. He has the chance to win a 5th consecutive Gold Cup. All 5 boats are now running for the start of the final here in the 1986 Gold Cup. It is a legal start, and it is Ron Snyder in first place in the Holson Miss Madison going into the Belle Isle turn. From high atop the Detroit Towers, you see the lead by Ron Snyder against the other boats, the turbine boats in 2nd and 3rd place as they come around. Coming up on lane number 1, it looks like it's the Miller American coming around the turn. It is Chip Hanauer and the Miller American trying to chase Gar Wood's Ghost, possibly winning his 5th straight Gold Cup. He won his 1st here in Detroit in 1982, and he is screaming down the back chute as his father, Stan Hanauer, watching from the Miller American camp. Look at the air under the boat, the water throwing the boat around as he comes around that tight rooster tail turn. Look at this race, 2 of the veterans in this sport. Hanauer on the right, Kropfeld on the left, the 2 turbines coming down the main chute and heading towards the big turn. Speed on lap number 1, 122 miles per hour for Hanauer. A rooster tail lead. Again, the water very bad as they go around the Belle Isle turn. It usually settles down now as they go out away from the beach. The Miller American crew watching as much as they can. The 7-Eleven lost power momentarily. But there's your race for first and second. Two veterans, as I said. Crotfeld on the right, a 25-year veteran. And this man, Chip Hanauer, who has been a world champion several times and has a chance of doing it maybe in '86. But right now, all he's thinking about is getting that 5th straight Gold Cup. The crew got the boat ready, and right now he's in first place. The Miller American in first place. Chip Hanauer. Many people have tried to compare him with Gar Wood of the 1917 through 1921 range. Crotfeld giving chase. Chip Hanauer, a full-time driver now, race driver, who also has a degree in special education. The speeds are really picking up. For Hanauer, 126 miles per hour. Fran Muncie, now the owner of this boat. Chip Hanauer driving for Fran. And, of course, the man who Chip Hanauer looks up to the most is Bill Muncie, a man who won many times, of course, here in Detroit and throughout the United States, the winningest driver ever. Hanauer still in first place, the winningest active driver in limited plane, hydroplane racing, going past the Detroit Yacht Club, where it's always very, very choppy and very narrow as you see him come around and the skid fin digging in, and the water settling down somewhat as Hanauer is riding along just fine, and the team beginning to sense that maybe they can tie history and go along in the record books along with Gar Wood of the early 1900s vintage racing. Back down the main chute again. Hanauer coming towards a right turn camera and the Belle Isle turn. The speeds, he can keep it up here as he goes around this big, broad turn. He's averaging about 124 miles per hour in that Lycoming 7 turbine engine. And again, Hanauer concentrating. He calls this the Yankee Stadium of boat racing, the Super Bowl, all molded into one. But here he comes. He is going to tie Gar Wood's record. A 65-year-old record is now tied by Chip Hanauer in the Miller American, winner of the '86 Gold Cup. It's been 5 years since Fran Muncie decided to continue in the sport as a tribute to her late husband, Bill Muncie. What a sensational tribute she and Chip and their team have fashioned with an incredible 5th consecutive Gold Cup victory here in Detroit. Let the celebration begin. Chip Hanauer, 5 in a row, is brought to you by Miller High Life and your local Miller distributor.